Hey guys, sorry about the delay. This is Tiger Talks Wrestling. I am your host, Tony, and today I have with me the current UWE Underground Champion, Jason Atlas.
What's up? Thanks
How
for
much,
having me.
mate? How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good to hear. Now, a little bit of a delay here. We'll see how people get in here. Make sure you guys get involved in that chat. As I mentioned recently on the last podcast, I want more people involved in this, so I want more interaction. See what we get. Let's start off as we get going here with your backyard wrestling origins. What first got you involved?
First got me involved. Um, I've seen you ask so many people this question, and there's so many different stories. But when it comes to me, I started in my own backyard actually.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, my five group of best friends, and we started out in my backyard, and my wrestling name was so horrible now. To this day, thinking about it, it was Lance Lightning.
Oh,
And I graffitied like a pair of jeans, and I had my own thing, face paint, stuff like that, and none of it was actually recorded. There's so much stuff on on UWE that was not captured by a camera,
right.
but they had storylines and everything, and that's what we did. And then we moved to my next door neighbors, and that's when we had a trampoline, and we started going crazy with that. I was we used the foam belts, of course.
Hmm.
We were probably 13 years old. At that time, I was, so much more agile. I was
Okay.
I was backflipping off of fences and jumping off roofs and all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. It it's so awesome to do with your best friends. And then moving forward to when I started doing it on YouTube, those
Mhm.
guys started to become my best friends
Right.
as my old friends kind of took their own paths and did other things.
Definitely. So, what first got you interested in doing backyard wrestling?
Um, I'm a rebel, rebel by nature, rebel without a cause. So
Mhm.
just that sign from WWE that comes on that says "Don't try this at home."
Right.
That's pro- that's probably it. Um, but you know, when you're such a wrestling fan at such a young age, I started watching wrestling at 3 years old.
Hmm.
The first match I ever watched, it was a match that, it was WrestleMania 3. Obviously, I wasn't born, but my dad had it on the TV, and it was I think it was WrestleMania 3. It was Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in the old blue steel cage.
It was actually WrestleMania 2.
Yep. Oh, that was two. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone's gonna crucify me for that, but that's all right. But yeah, it was. It's something that I used to do, just beating up my little sister with my best friend. You know, um, I was Bubba and he was Devon, and we would 3D her every chance we could get.
Nice. So, who would you say were some of your influences of pro wrestling wise when you were growing up and now, even?
Number one, gotta go with Stone Cold.
Of course.
Um, I'm an Attitude Era baby. People call themselves a '90s baby. I'm an Attitude Era baby.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, Stone Cold, um, Triple H. I'll never forget when he came back from his knee surgery and won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
That was when I was an all-time Triple H fan.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, of course, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane. Um, and I was really into the hardcore wrestlers. Al Snow, Hardcore Holly, Steve Blackman,
Hmm.
um, the Main Street Posse, like um, the hardcore title 24/7 rule era was like the best.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. I really enjoyed the 24/7 era. So,
Oh my God, it was the best. I remember when they had the triple threat match. It was Big Show versus Kane versus Raven,
yes.
and they had the golf cart and they were locking each other in the cage. And I think I think Big Show or Kane. No, Kane stole the golf cart and had the referee hop on the back.
Yep, I remember.
Oh, that was the
Good shit.
best.
So, take a little off topic here. Yankee asked the first question in the chat section. Yo, what's your experience in Proving Ground been like so far?
Proving Ground's been amazing, and management has been awesome.
Wink, wink. All right. We'll get into Proving Ground a little bit more later. But let's start with your debut in UWE, the first time that we've seen you on YouTube. You actually debuted in the crowd on UWE programming and got hit by Black Bullet, if I remember correctly.
Yep. With that, I played as like Black Bullet's #1 fan and probably only fan at that time. And he was doing his whole Schmurda thing,
Mm-hmm.
And it was given the idea that that I just go off on the Black Bullet and just get him so riled up that he attacks me, and you know thus creating the name of the new UWE superstar Jason Atlas.
Right.
And rather than press charges or sue him, I would challenge him to a match at Abomination.
Yes.
And that was really cool. But right before it wasn't so far off that I was in there as a fan, because before I even was at that show, I was at shows before that, just as a fan.
Right.
And it was such a cool experience watching these guys, and their storylines were like Attitude Era, like still being here. That's how it felt,
Yeah.
and I was attracted to that, because WWE was going through their PG era, which don't even get me started.
Right.
But I just wanted
Yeah.
to hang on to anything that still had, the blood and the chair shots to the head and all the things that we miss about wrestling in WWE that's not there anymore. So I was so attracted to that. And Antonio DeChico was the one who brought me in. I don't know
Nice.
how many people know that. And I've known him longer than I known any of the guys in WWE. Amazing friend, former drinking buddy, like so many things. I remember when he wore a cast for like a year and we used to hang out in a parking lot and just get drunk.
Nice.
Antonio Chico, has always been my boy. And, I've invited him to my house and my girlfriend just to watch wrestling pay-per-views and stuff like that. It sucks now living in Pennsylvania, but, I get to do that.
Yeah. Yankee had said he feels like you are falling off the spectrum. Why he says that?
Oh, the spectrum. Yankee knows all about the spectrum. But if anybody knows about the spectrum, it's probably Everett Creed.
Interesting. All right.
There's a small group of people laughing right now.
Gotcha. And King Dominator and Yankee were just talking in the chat, congratulating Yankee on his announcement from today. Congrats to him there. So what was your take on that whole little feud that you had with Black Bullet when you first debuted?
Well, it had its ups and downs, because Ultimate Redemption. Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna tear the fourth wall down real quick. Ultimate Redemption. I showed up hammered, and I showed up. It was just so unprofessional, and we actually still put on an amazing match. But the man behind the mask of the Black Bullet, I hit him with the spinning back fist, and I stiffed him so many times that he said, "Cut the camera," and he rips the mask off. And he goes, "If you stiff me one more time, we're fucking fighting." And we actually we continued from a replay there, and And we finished up the match, but the way it was supposed to go down originally kind of changed from where it was going to go the first time. But my favorite match was with Black Bullet, and this isn't because I won. It was actually only on a lockdown because the first two matches with Black Bullet they were pay-per-views.
Right.
The final match I had with Black Bullet 101, I call it the snow match.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting each other with snowballs. I broke a huge, like, this big snow boulder over his head,
Right.
and then we'd see Anonymous for one of the last times, and I got attacked by Anonymous and him, and at that time I was tagging with Ustalo, and we both thought we had him, and they ended up taking us out and running away.
Right.
But that match was just so much fun. It wasn't about who won or lost. It wasn't about how good the match was or whose entrance was better or anything like that. It was
Mhm.
just that match was so much fun.
Right. That's a good thing. We wanna have those type of matches, though.
Yeah,
Definitely. But speaking of Ustalo, as you mentioned, you did team up with him briefly, but you guys had quite a feud at times as well.
yeah, we had a
What
few.
was yeah? What would you have to say about the history between you and Ustalo altogether?
um, that's probably my biggest feud in UWE. I'd have to say my biggest rival, as far as Ustalo goes.
Right.
You know, um, I remember when he first did his betrayal, and he punched me right in the balls. I still owe him one for that. Um, and he had that one contact, and he goes, Ustalo just snapped. And from there
Yeah.
on, we went on to two of my favorite matches, and one of them was at Friday Night Lights, and the other one was the Trailer Park Triple Threat, Trailer Park Brawl Triple Threat match.
Yeah.
Um, but that's definitely been interesting. Me and Ustalo, I don't know what it is, but our chemistry just is phenomenal. When we get in the ring, whether we like each other or hate each other, we just end up pulling it off. We end up having a great match every single time.
Right.
Has
And since you mentioned that match, that's one of your best matches, in my opinion, to date, was that, or most interesting, Trailer Park Brawl match that you two had with Dirty DeChico. What was that experience like for you?
Oh my God. Um, I remember management being so hesitant on putting us in, having like an Extreme Rules feel, like a match with weapons and everything, how we
Mm-hmm.
were going to handle it. And if anything, I feel like that was their way of initiating me and Ustalo. They're going to put us in there with, Dirty DeChico, the
Mm-hmm.
gunslinger, and he is going to
Yeah,
kick our asses.
we did.
Yeah, he did. But I got a couple licks in, and I think
That's true.
one of the greatest parts. Now, this is again breaking down the fourth wall. Ustalo, I I come out and I show off my brand new jersey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Costs a lot of money, custom made. Couldn't
Right.
wait to debut it, and he does this standing drop kick, and his foot gets caught right about here, and it tears
Right.
the whole jersey down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now the referee and Dirty DeChico were both trying to calm me down. My opponent was trying to calm me down because they saw rage, and
Right.
after that I didn't hold back. I Every time I picked him up, I slammed him as hard as I could. I hit him as hard as I could because I was so pissed off. As the match went on, obviously everything was cool. Uslo got probably his highlight moment there where he did the Call of Duty thing.
Right.
Um, I loved when I grabbed that little bouncy thing, and you know, I don't think that somebody like Dirty DeChico is gonna sell this, but I come out with that little hip hop bouncy thing, and I'm hitting him on the head with it, and he finally goes down, and I'm like, yeah.
Right.
And I use it the way it's supposed to go. I start bouncing up and down on top of Dirty DeChico. But I had some serious welts from that match on my back. If you saw the way that these guys were hitting me with, Singapore canes and mops and everything,
Yeah.
nobody held anything back.
No, you
I
can
brought
tell.
a screwdriver into the match.
Right.
That was my favorite match actually. So far in my career, up until something that you guys haven't seen yet.
Gotcha. Well, we'll have to be on the lookout for whatever that is.
Yeah, you really do, because this is my new favorite match, and I didn't think anything could top that Trailer Park Brawl.
Right. So, huh. There's another feud and match we could talk on. You had a run-in at one point with BTW member Diablo.
Yeah, that was uh, Crossover Crisis.
Yes.
Crossover Crisis. In my opinion, he wanted to do the whole he wanted to switch and do the whole Dante thing. But I thought with the right opponent and the right build and the right match, Diablo could be still very much alive and dominating.
Right.
That's why after he went and became Dante, I did the whole silly ritual and I summoned Diablo.
Yeah.
And I think the holy shit moment of that match was the spear off the trampoline.
Right.
I can't expect anybody to disagree to that.
No, I definitely went. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What was your take on the whole show of Crossover Crisis? Since we're on the topic there.
The whole show.
Yeah.
Do you want my answer? Let's say, kayfabe or behind the scenes.
Your God's honest truth answer, pretty much.
In my opinion, because I'm not a very confrontational person. I thought it was fun and it was awesome. You know, a lot of egos got in the way and a lot of things happened that I wish didn't happen. It's kind of one of those Homer Simpson moments where you go, "Don't."
Right.
But yeah, I thought when I got there, I was a little bit late, and I walked in on the TJ Sakara versus Zach Daniels match with the water bucket,
Right.
and that had me dying. That was great.
It was definitely interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So since he's in the chat room, and I can't not mention Big Time Mike's in the chat room.
Big time.
He asked what I had him ask before in these. How do you prepare physically and mentally for a huge show?
Physically and mentally. It's a really good question, Mike. Physically, I normally don't see a lot of people, stretching and kind of like pumping themselves up, but I definitely do. I definitely get myself like ready to do this, and mentally I try to go into every match like this is going to be the match to steal the show. I'm going to go into that. That's my more recent mentality. I'm going to go into every single match that it's going to be my best match. I'm not taking no for an answer.
Right.
If my opponent doesn't want to work with me, I'm going to make sure it's the best match. If it's left up to me, I'm going to do what I have to do. Back to Crossover Crisis real quick. I was at a standstill with Diablo, and he wasn't really working with me, and I'm like, spear me, and he goes off the trampoline, and I go, what? I didn't even hear him. So as much as it might have shocked everybody else, that shocked the shit out of me.
Right. See that guy coming at you, and
oh yeah,
not really expecting it.
And I'm surprised that nobody saw it. He probably still had. He ate these like these red hot Pringles, and it was still all over his mouth, like right before the match. So if you want to
Wow.
talk about, going how you prepare yourself physically for a match, Diablo, he eats fiery Pringles.
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, got your opinion on Crossover Crisis there, for the most part. People in the chat room, including Rick Rios, are saying it was a disaster. The whole show.
Wait, what?
Said Rick Rios and a couple of others, I think, said that Crossover Crisis was absolutely horrendous and was a disaster. Or Ricky at least said it.
Well, yeah, somebody like Rick would definitely say that.
Yeah. So, you had a run-in with the Freak Show, Lips.
Oh, no. I had a couple run-ins with the Freak Show Lips, and
Yes,
none of
that's
them
true.
were ever pleasant.
What was it like to work with Lips?
One word, disgusting.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is, I think my first match in a ring, was with Lips. I went to, what was it? It was BEW. I was in a gauntlet match. I can't remember the exact name of the pay-per-view.
What was that? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think
They
of
just
it.
had the third one not too long ago too. I'm drawing a blank.
Day of Destruction, was it?
Yeah. Day of Destruction 2.
Yeah.
I was at Day of Destruction 2, and first I took on Tycoon Mikado, rest in peace.
Rest in peace indeed.
and then my second opponent was Lips. And if it didn't really show it on the camera, but if you saw how many fans were actually there, that backyard was packed. People just watching the show.
Right.
And I definitely played like the ultimate babyface that everybody wants to see. Like, get rid of the Freak Show, please. Like, we don't want to see him anymore.
Yeah.
And we put on a clinic. Lips was definitely my most odd opponent, but it made for a good match. He's definitely very experienced. You can't take away from his experience.
That's true.
Somebody that's taken on Novin, and won, pinned his shoulders to the mat. You can't just take somebody like that lightly.
Right. So since we're kind of mentioning BEW here, let me jump into your time that you've had at BEW for Proving Ground. What we've seen from you in Proving Ground was a match with one Casey James.
Casey James. That bitch-ass motherfucker, Casey James. Yeah, the hardcore match. Main event.
Go into detail on that match.
Yeah. I wanted to kill him before and after, especially after. What a cheap son of a bitch to handcuff me just to get the win. I had him done. It was over. I had him with the headhunt, nearly broke the goddamn ring. That my debut should have been my first win at the same time. So the one thing I could say to Casey James is that is far from over. I'm going to fucking kill you, Casey James. If you're watching this, I'm going to end your life in a wrestling ring.
All right. Fair enough to say. I know it was definitely a physical match that you two put on in that hardcore match. And
yeah, he used a stapler.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Something I don't recall
afterwards. I'm going to show up with a battery and jumper cables.
Oh, I know where you're going with that one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna fry his good vibes.
Nice. There's one other person I kind of skipped over. Let's get back into from UWE before I read what Mike had to say. they had a feud with, and part of the reason I
Oh, don't say it.
left in for now, well, there's two guys really, but first one I want to touch on is Revan.
Revan. Um, yeah, I guess that was a short-lived one, but
Yeah.
fun little story that nobody really knows outside of maybe three or four people in UWE who was there that day. Um, my originally my original debut that I was supposed to have
Mm-hmm.
um, was against Revan, and it was an unaired match. It was recorded, but it was never aired. We
Gotcha.
decided to go down a different path, and my name wasn't Jason Atlas.
Oh,
I
really?
had something, yeah. I had something else going on. It was like Sean Hunt or something like that. And I guess like Jack Thomas and a couple people were like, I don't like it. we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna have to scrap it, repackage the guy. This can't go down.
Interesting.
But yeah,
That, yeah.
that first match that me and Revan had, that was a great match. I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't put up, but we've gone on to have a couple good matches after that. Um,
Right.
my first lockdown back after a long absence. Um, I've publicly said it on Backyard Wrestling. I've said it on UWE, so I have no problem saying it on Tiger Talks Wrestling. Um, I am a recovering alcoholic, and I was in rehab, and I had to eventually go into a sober house. I was going through some really tough times in my life, and I came back, and rather than I at that time I wanted to kind of make like a big return and
Yeah.
do maybe have like some kind of like videos like bringing my return back and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But things don't always go as you want. You know, you got to get over it. And I had my first match back with Revan, and Revan was a great shape. He did great, but that match back, I was so disappointed with my performance. Like I was so hard on myself. I was like, the ring rust. It shows. Trampoline rust, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
But I was like, when I finally watched it recorded after doing some other stuff that I was actually proud of, I was kind of more, I was more okay with it when it actually aired and it came on.
Gotcha.
But let's see, with Revan, we actually worked as a team in the Survivalist Coliseum,
Yeah.
for a little while. But he was trying to be too buddy buddy. But he obviously didn't read the fine print. If you've ever seen any Royal Rumble, you know that it's every man for himself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Um, so I think Revan tries to be too much of a nice guy. I show you gotta have some edge, in your character. And if you want to be the ultimate baby face, that's cool and everything. But, you know, I as the disease at Atlas just coming back in again.
Mhm.
Um, I actually made a statement with Revan, even though I lost the match. I think via jackknife pin. I tried to I tried to make it clear that these fans aren't going to be what helps you win your matches,
Right.
and that it's a waste of time. So there's going to be you're going to see a lot of darkness come out of Jason Atlas. Just know that I didn't relapse in real life.
That's good to know.
And yeah, and it's a way to get that real aggressive side out, and a lot of things that make me me, both good and bad.
Gotcha. So I want to read what Mike put in the comment section. He says Jason Atlas is a tough brother. Got to have a dark match and a gauntlet match with him. Great guy, and after the end game win, I think he's going to break out big time.
You know what? I'm so glad he mentioned that. So I'm gonna flash back again really quick to my first Ultimate Redemption against Black Bullet when I showed up drunk. Big Time Mike was on commentary. He
Hmm.
was a special guest commentator.
Right.
And I didn't know who he was really. I knew him a little bit, but
Uh-huh.
I wasn't like starstruck or anything. And he was talking some serious shit. Like this alcoholic, just like crazy shit. And
Hmm.
I find out that I'm going to Best in the Yard too. Now, you guys might not even known that I was at Best in the Yard too, because I wasn't on the card.
Right.
I wanted to be on the card so bad, but when it comes to Best in the Yard, you have to get it while it's hot, and you have to show your
Yep.
stuff. You have to be on the top of your game all year, which I plan to do for 2017. But I finally meet Big Time, and I'm like, when I meet, the guy behind the guy behind Big Time, I want to pound his face in. Like I'm ready to fight him.
Right.
I meet Big Time Mike, and he is the nicest, coolest, down to earth, humble guy you have ever met. And I felt so bad for even thinking those thoughts. Um,
Right.
I bought his movie ticket. You know, it was like 9 or 10 of us. Picture a whole
Hmm.
bunch of backyard wrestlers going to see a movie. It sounds like a bad joke. But
Sounds like a
we
good
were the
one.
most obnoxious crew. And I bought Big Time's movie ticket. We went to go see Central Intelligence.
Yep.
Um, but it was a whole week that we were there. So we did the gauntlet, and um, after Navon McDonald, I just barely beat him. Big Time just tossed me around like a rag doll. And
Yeah.
we did have two dark matches that if I could get my hands on at some point, I would love to put out there because they were so good, so fun. And we had we had a tag team match. It
Mhm.
was me and Aaron Jones, the two biggest like entrance guys, aside from Jason Walker. And we did a
Right.
tag team entrance, something that like all the fans would have died to see,
Yeah.
versus Big Time and Everett Creed.
Unique team.
Uh, yeah, and then I just had a one-on-one with Big Time, and damn, that dude hits hard.
I
You know,
believe that.
just watch a couple matches against Rick Rios, and
Oh yeah.
that'll tell you. He does not pull a punch. He hits you with everything he's got as hard as he can, and when he's got you in the BTA,
Hmm.
you're not going to be walking for maybe a day or two. You're you're going to be on one foot.
Right.
Like that shit is real. Big Time Mike, just to sum it up, a brother.
Yeah. The Dark Side's in the chat room and also says, just joining, but Jason Atlas is a good dude. He should have a good year in Proving Ground and elsewhere this year.
Oh, I'm going to have a good year everywhere. I plan on debuting in DBW. That's going to be my new stomping grounds that I try to get to because I've
A little
shown
closer.
face in proving ground. I've shown face in VTW, NUW, LCW. DBW seems to be like the next place I gotta throw a back fist in.
Right.
Probably looking at Judgment as my first opponent. I would love to do that.
Nice. I'm sure Judgment would be up for it too. So
Oh, he would. Shut your face.
yes, indeed. So I had a few things come in from Devon McDonald he wanted me to mention here. First of all, he says, congratulations to you publicly on becoming a dad from him. And he
Thank
knows
you.
that you'll be a great father. But yeah, I'll say congrats on that. Didn't know about it.
Thank you. Yeah. My girlfriend. She's been my girl. We're going up on 2 years together. And it has been nothing short of amazing. Actually, she just walked in the room now. Um, we found out not too long ago that we're having a baby boy, and
Cool.
whoever says prayer doesn't work is full of shit because I prayed time and time again that we have a boy,
Nice.
and it finally happened. But yeah, Lauren has been by my side through thick and thin, through the worst and the best. And if sorry,
It's all good.
um, she's just the greatest girlfriend in the world, and she's beautiful and amazing. And she's actually been a host to like a lot of times that a lot of the guys come over, uh, in UWE, and she makes like all the best food, and we chill out, and we watch the pay-per-views and everything.
Right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to raising an amazing family, and uh, that's the next huge step in my life.
Well, that's good for you, man. Good to hear.
Absolutely.
He wanted to know also, what was your experience like first joining BEW, now NUW, at Day of Destruction 2, getting to meet everyone, and what was your overall experience getting to wrestle in a ring in front of a live crowd?
That was so cool. There was like a few of us. I feel like we didn't want to just run to the ring and start jumping off the top rope and everything because we we would look like marks. But
Yeah.
I could tell that everybody else that was thinking it, they were thinking the same thing as me. Like we were just like, oh my god, we're really about to wrestle in a ring. And
Right.
meeting Navon, that's that's got to be one of the biggest memorable moments. You've probably heard a million Navon McDonald stories, and they're all true. And
Right.
he could make your day. Like he comes up with the funniest shit, and he doesn't even mean to. He's just being Navon McDonald, the king of the mountain.
Indeed.
But you already knew that. Yeah. Navon has become like one of my best friends, and I continue to use the word brother because these guys have just become brothers. Yankee, Felix, aka Shadowgram.
Mm-hmm.
I met JJ the Pitbull Cordera. He was awesome. Paul Peterson is a great guy. The Dark Side, awesome dude. I met all these guys. I remember the Dark Side was spray painting a table when I first got there,
Nice.
and I was just bad timing. So yeah. The Dark Side was spray painting a table when I got there, and I'm like, yo, some serious shit is gonna go down.
Right.
And I think either you or Jay Joker mentioned about the 3 stages of hell match?
Yeah.
That match, you think that's crazy just watching it on YouTube. Being there, you cringe with like every next like huge thing that happens. Day of Destruction 2, I watched somebody get tombstone on a moving fan.
Yeah.
Like that is like that's the definition of a death match right there.
Right. Definitely. All right. I also wanted to know, you kind of brought it up, but from Best in the Yard 2 weekend for that FBW 20-man gauntlet match for the APW Championship, mentioned that Devon eliminated Drew Hood and Ecstatic first, and then you came out. Did you think you were in a match or a fight because things got stiff between the two of you?
Me and Devon?
Yep.
I guess I thought I was in a I guess it kind of goes 50-50 because I was in there with some of the best well-known guys. I had the most to prove out of all those people. All these guys were so over.
Right.
And I'm just Jason Atlas, this mid-carder from UWE. Like, how did he even get here? That's where my mind went. So I got angry at my own thinking, like, I got to prove something. And one thing I could say is I've never hit anybody harder with a spinning back fist than I cracked Navon McDonald.
Nice.
If you watch closely at that video, I grab him by the head and I go, I'm so sorry.
Might have to check that out again. Sam Ayals in the chat room said, "Someone say deathmatch."
Sam AL he sends me links to death matches all the time, and I watch pretty much every single one of them.
Right.
The King of Ultra Violence is so underrated. He is so good. If you're looking at anybody to make a huge rise in 2017 besides me, you're looking at Sam AL. Did I just say 2017?
You did a second time.
See it behind every great man is a smarter girlfriend, and she just corrected me.
Okay. Yeah, he probably doesn't want me to mention that these are all from him, but they're a lot to do with him. Wanted to know what you thought on the Lips Novin trilogy that just happened in UWE recently.
My favorite match wasn't even the last one.
Right.
My favorite match was the Buried Alive, because who's ever seen that in backyard wrestling? I haven't.
I know it. They did it once in the old company that Sam Ayal used to work for in KWA. He was part of it, but that was nothing compared to Novin and Lips.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, just watching as the dirt completely covers him, wondering if Lips can breathe, wondering if he's choking on dirt right now. That was some crazy stuff. That's stuff that people are always going to remember. And it was the first time I ever saw thumbtacks during that trilogy. Can't remember if it was this. I think it might have been the first match. I'm not sure.
It was the first match.
That's the first time I ever saw thumbtacks in UWE personally. Thumbtacks on the table. No, just because it was Lips, they were heart-shaped thumbtacks. Yeah. So I gotta say, like, these two, they are the phenoms. They're the phenoms of their companies, and to see that clash, it's like you finally get to see Undertaker versus Sting, but in definitely a weirder version.
Yeah.
In backyard wrestling.
That's for sure. I know ways you could easily make the comparison between those two feuds. So.
Oh yeah.
And I know part of the reason why that is for that, because I've talked to both guys.
Yeah.
And what did you think when you seen Novin's casket match recently at Halloween Hangover against Dustin Reagan?
Wow. You know what added so much excitement to that match? The rain.
Right?
It was coming down. And you see when Dustin gets tossed, he just slides. And Novin gets busted open, and that turnbuckle put a fucking hole in his head. Mm-hmm. That's scary. That match is definitely a huge candidate for match of the year, if not match of the year.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. It had to be one of the matches of the year for VTW, especially.
I'm surprised Novin didn't hang it up after that match, because he could have sat on that as his career-ending match, and he would have nothing to regret.
Right. So, do you have any stories that you'd be willing to divulge from your trip to BEW for Day of Destruction 2 weekend?
I don't know if some people want me to say this or not, but Day of Destruction 2 was filmed a lot further back than it was aired. There was a lot of late footage. I'm not going to say why. That's not my place to do that. But it just makes it harder to remember. I remember that we were so excited to be going to wrestling. I think it was the first time we ever wrestled in another company. And that alone, getting to meet all these new people, just other backyard wrestling guys from somewhere else, is just so cool.
Now, one of the most recent times we actually seen you in BEW was as part of their Backyard Rumble 2 that aired. What was that experience like for you to be a part of that?
Oh man, anytime, you know what was awesome? Okay, so like the Survivalist Coliseum, like UWE, that's
Hmm.
awesome. But now you have like an actual top rope to throw people over.
Right.
Now that's great. My biggest regret of the Backyard Rumble is I wanted to stay in long enough uh to fight Yankee like in the actual Backyard Rumble.
Nice.
I wanted a piece of Yankee and I got eliminated before I got a chance. Actually, if you go back and watch that match, you don't even see who eliminates me because as I got eliminated, they went to the over to the stage for the next person coming out.
Hmm. Yes, I didn't realize that.
So nobody even knows who eliminated me except for me and the people in the ring.
Gotcha.
I'm not
That's
even going to give that person the satisfaction.
fair enough. Uh, that's not the most recent time you actually were in or went to BEW, because we know that was recorded before, way before this last time that one of the last times you were there for
Yeah,
King of the Yard this year.
King of the Yard. Yeah, that that itself was a crazy. That was awesome. I got to meet guys that I never thought I'd ever come in contact with, and when I found out my opponent, I couldn't believe that I guessed him because it was so far off from anybody who it could have been. I actually guessed that it was going to be Jamal Payne.
Not really.
Yeah. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted that match to be a little bit better than it was.
Hmm.
Some mistakes were made, but overall, I was so happy to actually be featured in King of the Yard. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't make it past the first round, but I could definitely see another King of the Yard happening, and I will make it past the first round. I'll make it. I wouldn't be surprised if people start calling me King Atlas,
Oh,
the
interesting.
Mosh King, the Mosh King. It has a ring to it.
There you go. I'll ask you more
But
about that here in just a minute, but I want to mention David Lowell is in the chat room. Says, rumor has it Atlas eliminated himself at the Backyard Rumble too.
God damn it, David. Did not eliminate myself. I should have eliminated myself uh, because of who actually did eliminate me.
Fair enough. So King of the Yard weekend, what was that whole weekend like for you to be there with all those different guys that for the first time really that I'm sure you were with those 30 plus guys that were there. And one.
Yeah. Somebody who I actually became good friends with over there was Owen Devine. You've probably seen him featured on Proving Ground a few times.
Yep.
Um, he's moving up the ranks in Proving Ground pretty fast. He's a really awesome dude. Um, One thing I'm trying to think if I think I did it at King of the Yard. But one thing a lot of people don't know that it all started at BEW where um, I asked Navon if I could announce a match. Um, and I announced this one match, and Navon walks up to me, and he goes, "Oh my God, Atlas, can you do that every single time?" After that, he wanted me to be the new like announcer anytime I was there because I just do it with so much passion and um I just really project and I
Yeah.
do it like it's Wrestle Kingdom or WrestleMania or something like that. Like I just put my
Mm-hmm.
all in ring announcing. I have so much fun doing it. I went on to do it in UWE. I was ring announcing there, and Novin always liked when I announced him because I do that scary screamo voice where I go, "From the netherworld, this is Novin," and
Right.
he was like, "You're doing that every single chance I can make you do that."
Nice.
So I actually stayed by the microphone a lot do ring announcing for a lot of other wrestlers. I think that was my first time meeting AK-47.
Yeah.
AK-47 is the shit. I was singing "I'm Different" with everybody else. Like that dude
Um,
is cool. Um, Trying to think who some other new people. Um, I wasn't the biggest fan of Ellis Taylor. I don't care if he's watching. He's a dick. Don't really like him.
he's probably not watching, but gotcha.
Yeah, probably not. Um, let's see. I think I took the trip with some of my on the road buddies are usually Uslo and Revan.
Hmm.
Um, that new breed thing killed us because of the way you know commentary and stuff kind of spun it. But I saw Ustalo say on his episode, like this is all Alice's fault that we're the new breed because like he came up with. I don't think I came up with the name. I just thought of a theme song by a band called Upon a Burning Body, and it
Uh,
just sounded sick if we were gonna do something at that time.
mhm.
And eventually we're like, yeah, let's just not do this. But I do a lot of my traveling with Uslo and Revan, and we all drove to King of the Yard together, and that was just like, we were really psyched for it.
Yeah.
Um, meeting Jamal Payne, he was nothing like the guy that I thought I was gonna meet. You watch these guys on YouTube, and you're like, sometimes you get convinced like this guy's gonna be, just like you see him, and he's like so calm, cool, collect. Um, Pittsburgh
Hmm.
Steelers fan also. Shout out
Yeah.
to my Steelers. They are kicking ass this season. They're going into the Super Bowl, no doubt.
All right. So I'll get back into that here in a minute. Steve Paragon says Midnight Moon eliminated you.
Who's Steve Paragon? Where does he live? I'm gonna choke the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to
Midnight
look him
Moon.
up on Twitter.
I did not want. Thank you, Steve Paragon. I must have pissed you off in a past life.
All right.
You did.
Um, but yeah, if there is a King of the Yard 2 this next year and you have the choice, who would you choose? Do you think you would choose as a first round opponent to face?
Big time, Mike.
Interesting choice, especially since he's technically supposed to be retired.
Yeah. Um. I don't know if we were going. I don't know if we were going off of kind of like a dream opponent or something like that. But
In
if
a way.
I don't know though because as a fan standpoint, I could see Big Time Mike coming back as like the whole FTC just being like, you know, you change we change the questions, you change the answers, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
they surprise us and they all come back. Who knows? Best in the Yard or Reunion Rumble.
As I say, Reunion Rumble's coming up and they're all three going to be there. So,
Yeah. So like, who knows if Big Time Mike is fully retired? Who knows if I could potentially see Big Time Mike at King of the Yard? But if we're talking that Big Time Mike is, fully retired, I'd have to say Zach Daniels.
yeah, that would be interesting.
I've never gotten into the ring with Zach Daniels yet, and he's on he's on like my kind of backyard wrestling list of people to face in 2018.
Gotcha. So, Say My House says, how does it feel knowing that my theme is heavier than yours? His theme song.
Damn, yo, that burns. I've been playing around with theme songs lately. I actually used Parkway Drive, and I used a song off of their album Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool for a little while, but my most recent theme song is I sing it myself actually. Well, I scream it myself. It was when I had my band together, and the song's called 6 Feet Deep, and
Nice.
I'm probably going to use that a lot. And he might not have heard that yet because if he thinks that his theme is heavier than that, then he's surely mistaken.
Fair
Because the
enough.
breakdown for that song will make him cry.
So Steve Paragon would say, follow me on Twitter at prominent SP.
I
Now I'm
absolutely
prepared to
will
be choked.
fucking not. I am not going to follow. If I'm going to follow you anywhere, it's with a baseball bat. You told everybody I got eliminated by Midnight Moon. You suck, Steve Paragon.
And
Oh,
since we were mentioning the new breed, Ustalo is now in the chat room. Says, how does it
Ooh,
feel?
Stella.
He wants to know how it feels to temporarily be holding his title.
Usti, you could come try to get it anytime you want. But it's just gonna end up like Friday Night Lights
Fair
without the
enough.
scorch at the end. That's what happens when you try to be the nice guy. You try to shake your opponent's hand, and well, look what happens. You get scorched. So
Right.
me being the nice guy, those days are over. You are gonna see a way
You
more
mentioned
aggressive Jason Atlas.
Now you mentioned earlier that you and Revan kind of teamed up in before in Rumbles there. Um, if you had a choice with all the tag teams that we're seeing and different tag teams in every promotion or company otherwise, other than UWE really, now you see tag team divisions in every company.
Hmm,
If you had the choice, who do you think you would choose for a tag team partner?
that's a good. I was not prepared for that question. Um,
Hey,
hmm.
that's what I do.
That's good. That's good. Uh, that's something to really think on. I'm anybody in backyard wrestling.
Anybody.
Wow, that gives you a long list right there.
Ustalo says in the chat room, obviously him.
Yeah, he would think that. Yeah, you know what? That didn't work out so well last time, did it, Ustalo?
Not
Bastard.
for you, it didn't. Not for
No.
him in the long run.
You know what? I think I would go with D-Lock.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Why would it be D-Lock?
Um, D-Lock, he's somebody to count on. He's he's done phenomenal work for years, and I think he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves, especially lately.
I
And
agree.
yeah, I think me and him together, we could just push ourselves to the very top of the tag team division, and everybody would be forced uh, to know just who the fuck Jason Atlas and D-Lock are. We are above you.
Right? That'd definitely be interesting. Just said if you two were to team up, they that you guys would call it Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth. That's kind of cool, actually. Um, oh, one thing I wanted to get in about Usti, uh, because when you had Ustalo on the show, that was before Endgame.
Correct.
So I'm gonna share the ultimate behind the scenes secret of Endgame and and the savior of the UWE. So
Okay.
when Ustalo was saying that this is gonna be a fight, he doesn't know who's gonna win. That this is all or nothing. Like he doesn't know what's gonna happen. Um, he really went in believing he is going to lose. I went in believing he was going to lose. The UWE was supposed to end. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was it. Um, we were going through a hard time, and there was a lot of there was a lot of bad shit going on. And when he pinned Everett for that last time, he expected Everett to kick out,
Yeah.
and it was like a super shock moment for Ustalo. Nobody told Uslo. Nobody told me. There was there was a very small people that knew that Uslo was going to save the UWE, and Uslo wasn't even one of them. And the
Hmm.
look on his face, you just see his eyebrows go above his hairline when he
Right.
hears the bell ring and hears his music play. He's just like,
Yeah.
I thought that was freaking phenomenal. Like what a gift to give somebody. You know, um,
Right.
he really put in the hard work. I'll give that to Usul. He put in so much hard work in 2017. It's not even funny.
Hmm.
Between editing, um, UWE in general, its production, um, his promos, his in-ring ability has definitely gotten up. If you watch some of his earlier matches where he tries to wrestle with his hat on the whole time, to
Yeah.
like now, I remember
I
when
remember that
Ustalo
for sure.
first started, he went to film a promo and he goes, "No, no, no, wait, start over." And they were like, "No, we don't start over here. Like you say what you got to say. Like that's it." Um
Right.
and now I'm not ashamed to say he could out promo me any day of the week. But that's just some holes in my game I have to work on, and I continue to improve myself. But he had a phenomenal year. 27. He made 2017 his bitch, and he set it on fire.
And he plans to do that with 2018 from what we've seen as well. So,
Yeah, we'll see.
so speaking of Ustala's opponent from Endgame, can't go without mentioning Everett Creed as one of your biggest rivalries in UWE.
hmm Um, if anything, Everett Creed was uh the chemical X that was needed to make the disease of Atlas. He was that last ingredient. So he's to blame for everything that you're gonna see. Um, and it's gonna get real dark really fast. The disease
Yeah.
of Atlas is gonna hurt anybody and not feel anything or not care how bad he hurts. The destruction that he leaves behind, and it's all Evercreed's fault. Um,
Now,
Jason
I have
Atlas
to
has
ask you,
never, yeah,
yeah,
Jason Atlas has never beaten Everett Creed, but the disease of Atlas is a whole nother ball game.
how does that make you feel though, knowing that you haven't ever been able to get that 1, 2, 3 over Everett Creed, and can't go without mentioning it was you who he last made tap out to win the UWE World Championship as well.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to buy him a rake for Christmas because every single time that he beats me, he always has to rake the eyes.
True.
That's probably that might be my second biggest rivalry of all time. Is definitely with Everett Creed, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes me that much hungrier to want to beat him bad, humiliate him when I finally do beat him.
Yeah.
Because every time that I lost, I was always this close.
Right.
You know, everybody thought, Atlas is about to win as soon as I lift him up for that headhunt, um, or whatever the case. And it's embarrassing to actually have tapped out to the Genesis device because it's like it's like the code breaker when Jericho actually hits it. You're like, you mean he didn't just catch him in the same position that everybody
Right.
else does.
Right.
But a huge win over Everett Creed is definitely a plan for 2018, and probably to bring down the whole supremacy altogether.
I mean, it's got to do something for you, I guess, in a way, knowing that Revan and Ustalo actually have been able to pick up victories over Everett Creed, and they were kind of in the same boat you were for a while as well.
I do hold a victory over Everett Creed um, on a lockdown, but it wasn't a singles match. I
Right.
actually I beat Everett Creed and Cameron Jackson in a handicap match once, and I pinned Everett Creed. So suck on that, Everett Creed.
There you go. I have to go back and rewatch that one again.
Yeah, but that one-on-one is definitely coming, and I'm gonna leave him bloody.
All right. Steve Paragon's apparently wanting to try and start a fight. Said something earlier, so basically he pulled a Sid Vicious, and then towards you being the disease, he says, "Want me to get you some medicine?"
Like, I don't even take that seriously.
Right? But no.
Wrestling
right.
is my medicine.
Good medicine to have. Okay, done with those. Oh, one other match I have to mention since I was on the topic of Navon earlier is the match you actually had with him at Lockdown 50.
Oh man, uh, that match was that match was crazy. I remember when he did that leg drop. I was laying up against the post, and he does kind of that Undertaker leg drop, and the sun was in my eyes, and I just see this big shadow man in this huge shadow like just coming down to crash on top of me, and that was definitely a moment to either remember or forget. But
Yeah, right.
want to talk about forget and not knowing if you're gonna have a concussion or not was the El Kabong at the end.
Yeah.
That was the first time I used the detonation kick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I executed it pretty good. But anytime I get in the ring with Navon, I know that it's gonna be like a bare knuckle brawl, and we're both okay with it. Because Navon McDonald is one tough son of a bitch, and so am I. So um, there's probably 3 or 4 people that I love getting in the ring with and going all out, and we both know that there's no hurt feelings because we're gonna beat the shit out of each other and we're gonna enjoy it. Navon is one of those people.
All right. So I got to go over these here real quick. David Llewellyn said, "How is wrestling in a ring different compared to wrestling on a trampoline?"
The canvas is definitely a lot harder than something that bounces.
Yeah.
It's I probably could use the same answer as Usula, where there's so many more elements that you have to your advantage. Being able to use the ropes and the turnbuckles, and there's just so much more you can do, and I love that. I can't wait to step in a VTW ring, which I haven't gotten into their ring yet, and have all that room to hit things like a superplex or things that make it harder to do in a little bit of a smaller ring. But to step in
Right.
the ring for the first time, I was like starstruck. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
Usla did give him an answer. Said that wrestling in a trampoline just means that bumps don't hurt as much, but you're limited to what you can do, unlike in a ring. So you can
Yeah,
get a lot more height on a trampoline.
yeah, you can. There's some things I probably wouldn't have been able to hit standing um, in a ring that I was able to hit on the trampoline.
Yeah.
I believe I hit a hurricanrana on Ustalo. Um, and doing that in the ring, I don't know how well that would have actually gone.
It's been interesting to see, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was really cool the fact that taking it back to King of the Yard, I was able to hit the headhunt off the second rope.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
That was awesome. I wish I could have won the goddamn match with that.
Right? I know. It's for me when watching it. I remembering back, that was where I thought the finish was gonna be. So
I don't even think he kicked out. I think he grabbed the rope. I don't remember.
I
But
believe he grabbed the rope or got his foot on the rope, one or the other. But
nobody else has that finishing move. I made that finishing move up myself. It's just a combination of different moves. Like if you remember back when uh, one of the wrestling games had create a move, like create a finisher, I just did
Hmm.
that myself in my head. So nobody else has a move like the headhunt. That
Right.
is my move, and I I wish if I'll tell you one thing: the next time I hit a headhunt off the top rope, nobody's kicking out.
As they shouldn't, if you ask me.
I guess beast mode was just having a, beast mode was in full effect that day.
Yep. Or at least in the match against you, anyway.
Yeah.
So you didn't make it past that either. So the next round. Uh, Steve Paragon wants to know. So have you felt the wrath of Navon's carnage off camera?
Hell no. Me and Navon actually me and Navon have never argued once, but I love to watch him argue with other people. It's great. um, Watching Navon get pissed at somebody, just I just sit back and lounge, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. Once I know Navon's in a mood, I'm like, I'm not gonna be the guy, but I can't wait to watch the guy that pisses off Navon.
Right. So have you seen the video that he posted from what happened at Best in the Yard this last year?
I don't think so.
He posted a couple days ago of the dark match, pretty much that he had with D-Lock that started it, anyways, and then everybody else got involved outside. You'll have to go back and watch
Oh,
that
yeah,
on the.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that a while ago, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I heard all the stories about it, so I was more than happy to see it. So
Oh yeah. You know, it was
definitely
actually
interesting.
entertaining. I don't know if you
What's
ever
that?
seen the footage of all the matches that they had inside, where they have like the indoor training and stuff like that when they bring the ring indoors. Um,
Yeah, I haven't seen
they
any of
had
that.
they had just mats, and oh my god, it was like Dirty to Chico and Devon McDonald and Yankee, and they were just tagging each other in, and they were doing just the craziest stuff, and it was
I
so
think I've heard the story, but I
entertaining
haven't
to
seen it.
watch.
Yeah. Steve wants to know. I haven't really paid much attention to when you do the headhunt, but when you do it, doesn't it hurt your knees?
No, I wear knee pads.
All right.
um, yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt the knees. If it did, I'd probably switch it up. I think if I tried to do if I try to do that kind of falling in a stunner position, that'd probably hurt your ass. So I thought drop it to the knees was a way better way to execute it.
Yeah.
Kind of benefits me.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about this last year's, technically now since 2018, Best in the Yard. What was your overall opinion of seeing the show?
Overall opinion, um,
Yep.
I thought it was great. Um, you know, there's a reason why it's called Best in the Yard, and you saw the best matches. The main event, I think the build was phenomenal. I
Mm-hmm.
think Yankee definitely pushed the envelope so far um, to
Mm-hmm.
become like one of the most hated guys in all of backyard wrestling. Um,
Right.
and for him, like that match, I really thought Yankee was gonna just throw Zach Daniels around and just kind of and beat him. I thought that was it. I thought the story that Yankee told on here was hilarious about the kid in the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
About the little kids, like I don't even know how like he recognized whatever. He's like, "Hey, didn't you get beat by Zach Daniels at Best in the Yard?"
Yep.
But yeah, uh, I don't mean to just talk about the main event. Um, every match was incredible. The Iron Man match, that was great. Um, I think if I had to pick the match of you know, the match of the entire card, like the 5-star match, I'd have to say
Mm-hmm.
Rick Rios versus Big Time Mike.
Yeah.
and I'm sure you heard that a couple times. Because I was just in awe. Like I got so emotional from that match, and
Right?
I don't really get emotional from watching like a backyard wrestling match, but that match like hit me. Whatever that they were aiming to do in that match, they succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's
it was like that moment that Brock Lesnar beat the streak for backyard wrestling to me. I was just like, my jaw dropped. I didn't know how to react.
right.
I was just like,
Yeah, I
no,
can
this
understand
can't
that.
be. Um,
Steve Paragon says he liked Rick Rios versus Mike and Victor Van Pelt versus Kevin Shaw.
oh my God. That whole big time in a dress is gonna scar me for life.
Right?
I never thought I'd have to see big time in a moo.
Yeah, definitely different. That's for sure.
um, since he mentioned that, I want to say that like Kevin Shaw finally got what I've been like just begging for it to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
my whole life I've been a fan of like the underdog team, the underdog individual. I'm a Mets fan. That'll tell you something. Um,
Yeah,
and Kevin
definitely.
Shaw was like the ultimate underdog, and I wanted nothing more than to see him win the VTW championship. So, Kevin Shaw, if you're watching, congratulations, and I'm so proud of you, brother.
You gotta repeat that one because you did cut out.
Oh, sorry. How much of it? Just want to say to
Yeah,
Kevin
just
Shaw,
what you're saying.
yeah. Kevin Shaw, congratulations. If you're watching this, I'm so proud of you, man.
All right. Steve mentions Kevin went to a good Christian school.
Yes, he did. I at the Best in the Yard 2 week, I witnessed Kevin drink his first beer. And
That had
he
been
told
interesting.
us, he decided to tell us that it was his first beer. And the Chico just slams his face and he goes, "Oh no, maybe we should take it away from him." I feel like
I
I'm
just you
corrupting
do
this poor boy. But Kevin drunk is hilarious. Yeah, it was like we put on some music. We did the jump on it. We danced and we drank and we had so much fun all night. And you know, it's like it's like no other feeling when you go to Best in the Yard and you have that week and these guys become more than some guys that you just seen wrestle or your acquaintances that you message once in a while. They actually hang out and you have the time of your life and they become your brothers.
Yeah. Speaking of Best in the Yard 4, of course, is creeping up on us in a few months. Are we going to
Yeah.
see Jason Atlas at Best in the Yard 4?
Um, I sure as hell hope so. I'm gonna do everything I feel like I need to earn a place at Best in the Yard, and I'm gonna do exactly that. You're gonna see a brand new Atlas this year.
Yeah.
Every chance I get to steal the show, to get that holy shit moment, I'm gonna take it. And I won't be denied Best in the Yard, so I will be at Best in the Yard, and I will be on the main card. Um, there will
Of
be
course,
no there'll be no pre-show Jason Atlas.
gotcha. Of course, we know you have been called out for Best in the Yard 4 right on this show, actually. So,
Oh yeah.
that's, well, yeah. It was during
Oh
the
yeah.
All Star show where Casey actually issued the challenge.
You mean that
And I've
midget?
seen your
Chambers?
responses toward it. What's that?
You mean that midget Casey Chambers?
Yes, Casey James, the current DBW World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, Casey James. Yeah. Um. We'll see if he's worth my time.
Right after that, because
Yeah.
Steve Paragon did say, question is, who is your opponent going to be for Biddy 4?
Yeah, we'll see about Casey James, but best in the yard's still pretty far away, and
A little ways, yeah.
you know, there's gonna be the year that I'm gonna have. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people lining up to face me. Um, just an example. I didn't call somebody else out. I was called out.
True.
So, not to sound too cocky, but to go in with the attitude like I hope I have an opponent. Like I believe that people are going to be like, I hope Jason Atlas is available.
Yeah.
Um, and you'll be lucky to face Jason Atlas because it'll probably be easier because if you have to face the disease of Atlas, um, that might be your last match. That's all I could say.
All right. And before I move away from best in the yard talk, I gotta commend you. I guess I would say uh, what you've been doing on Twitter the last couple days, what you've posted, and what you have started for one J Joker Designs, who was just on here on Tuesday night. It's
Um,
very cool of you to do that for him.
Nothing will make me happier than the guy that has put in so much hard work and dedication for all of us to to get what he deserves. To get to be there, front and center. If I had it my way, I would make him the host of Best in the Yard 4, or I would have him right there at the commentating tables with who knows who will be this year. I'm looking forward to maybe like Jack Thomas and Arnold. They make a great team. Maybe
Yeah.
Carlitos or something.
Right.
But if he calls the action or he's the host, like I think that he deserves to be like the special guest. Jay Joker, he really is my brother. Like he mentioned he's the first person on your show that I've watched the entire thing because they do get a little lengthy and I was on a really long car ride back to Pennsylvania from New York, but regardless, I think I would have tuned into the whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's just a really intriguing dude. Like I called him philosophical when I talked to him on the phone the night before your show.
Right.
And he has so much faith in me and I appreciate that so much. I can't believe that he's known Everett for 8 years and they've never met in person.
They met once.
Did they? I thought he said they
Yep. He
never
said
met.
they had met once. That was
Oh,
it.
either way, for all of us to finally get to meet him, all the way from Arizona, that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be the coolest thing ever. Um,
Right.
so I'm gonna be. I had to work, throw some things around and open up a new bank account now that I've moved to a different state. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna be donating as soon as tomorrow. Um, so I'm not pressuring anybody to donate, but just know that this is the man that made the coolest logos that you see in backyard wrestling. And if you're watching this, you probably have one made by Jay Joker too. So you know, show the brother the same support, that he's shown
Yeah.
you.
If you don't know what exactly we're talking about, Jason has done a GoFundMe page for to get J Joker Designs to Best in the Yard 4. You don't know where to find it, just go to Jason Atlas's Twitter page, which the link will be in the description below. So
Thank you, Tony. And
um,
one thing I gotta say is I have to thank you um, for so long just being such a diehard backyard wrestling fan. You've just been like you've been just so genuinely involved. Whether
right.
you're tweeting about it or now you have this show. I think it's so awesome that you created this show and now you give all these guys, huh?
So I can't take all the credit, but yeah, thanks.
um, but yeah, like you give like everybody kind of a behind the scenes version, like what the real guy is like, you know. Um, what Jason Atlas is like and what Nick Kern is like. You know, like what Everett Creed is like, what Everett Patterson is like, what Mike Newman is like, what Ustalo is like. How they differ, how they're the same. Um,
Right.
you know, it's such a cool element to put in there.
Yeah, thanks. And the only reason I say I can't take all the credit for it is because it wasn't my idea to start the show in the first place. It was H2's. Uh,
That I
and then,
didn't
of
know.
course, now you do.
That's very
I mentioned,
interesting.
yeah,
You
he's the
don't
one
know
that
now
talked
you
me.
know.
But also got to give credit to all you guys for actually being willing to come on as well. So if it wasn't for the guys like you and everybody else who's been on the podcast before and will be eventually, then there wouldn't be a podcast to start with. So
So Samael was saying the last time that he didn't get enough of his questions answered. So I told him I would try to make it so that more of his questions get answered. Does he have anything up there that was unanswered?
I didn't know that I'd missed his questions before, but okay. No, I haven't seen anything. I think I've got to every question he said. So
All right. I'm just making sure.
all right. But anyway, let's get back to UWE a little bit here since we didn't wrap up on that bow pretty much yet.
Okay.
Just recently, we've seen, as you mentioned, the transformation into the disease and
Yes.
the start of the feud with one TJ Sakara.
Um yeah, TJ went from being um my best friend, my biggest Jason Atlas's biggest supporter, and you know, help train and get Jason Atlas ready. A lot of similarities, a lot of common goals, and one day he just got too busy and started doing his own thing. Kind of left Atlas in the dust when things started everything started crumbling on top of Atlas, and Atlas has got a huge chip on his shoulder for that, and he wants to make Sakara pay. And it's only the beginning that he started doing that by taking the underground title away from him.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did it make you feel to win the Underground Championship, being that it is the first title that you've held?
You know what the best part about it was? Whether it was the polls or just in general of talk on the live stream chat,
Mm-hmm.
nobody expected me to win.
True.
So I thought that was great. It was like 50-1, and Atlas comes out with the Underground Championship. And it was my first real accomplishment that you could kind of put up there on that board, UWE Underground Champion. I may not have been the first, but top five, and I'm gonna make this title relevant. I'm gonna make it mean something. And I think that Ustalo and TJ were on their way to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna carry the torch from there, and I'm gonna make this title matter.
Right.
You're gonna wonder by the time I'm done whether the UWE World title's on the line or the Underground title.
Gotcha. So Samael wants to know, when are you coming to DBW?
I want to say the springtime. I looked it up. DBW is about 2.5 hours from me.
Nice.
All depends on who I might travel with. I might travel alone. I'm looking to get a new car by springtime. And in the part of Pennsylvania that I'm living in, it's looking like I'm probably going to have to get a truck. This is like mountain land. I live right
Gotcha.
next to the Poconos. So yeah, I want to get to DBW as soon as possible. I'm gonna shoot for the springtime, and
Yeah, too.
my son is gonna be born in May, actually. Uh, May 28th is the due date, but you never know. We already named him. My son's name is going to be Jax. I'm looking so forward to that. But that's going to be a huge role and a hard thing where I've got backyard wrestling and I've got my personal life with my girlfriend and, you know, my newborn son. So I'm
Right.
going to never want to be away from my kid, but, this is also something else that I love.
Yeah. Usulo says he could answer that question. That it'd be when he goes to DBW as well. Let the two of you go together.
That is because I've made. It's so funny you said that. I've made like Ustalo like Mr. Taxi Driver lately.
Gotcha.
He drove all the way to Goldsboro, Pennsylvania to pick me up to bring me to UWE.
Wow.
And for that, like that's incredible. Like he's so fucking cool for that.
Right.
My friendship with Ustalo has definitely grown, so it sucks when I have to punch him in the face sometimes.
Hey, but feuds between best friends are usually one of the best feuds you can have. So
It is. Look at Ustalo's matches with Revan. They didn't have a long feud, but they should have. Because their matches, their in-ring chemistry is so good because they know each other so well. They've been wrestling each other since they were young, and
yeah,
they're. I hope they get another rivalry in the future because just like me and Usi, the matches we have, his matches with Revan usually can be like show stealers.
yep. So Ecstatics now in the chat room says the one man mosh pit, all in capitals. First of all,
The one man mosh pit is dead. I
hashtag
stepped on the jersey to signify that he is dead and buried.
and he'd go on and say
But
hashtag standards Atlas. Congrats to you, brother. So proud of you.
thank you so much.
It's
Underground
Steve Paragon.
champion and a future father.
Yep.
Those are my stats.
Steve Paragon would say, "You're becoming a dad, so get a van, aka the Dadmobile."
Yeah, right. I'm not looking forward to being a soccer dad or something like that.
Right. Not a little bit more of a serious note, or not necessarily serious, but still. H2 is in the chat room and says, "Saw you in the When Worlds Collide live chat," which I also did. What did you think of the show? Also,
Awesome.
congrats on fatherhood.
Thank you. Awesome. First time ever watching their company, and man, it won't be the last. It was my first time seeing what is his name? Tommy Zachary.
Was that Tommy? Yeah.
Yeah. His match was great. Congrats to his win. And that tag team match, man, like when he finally got uncuffed and he exploded, that was great.
That was
You
good
know,
when AJ got in there.
my eyes were glued to that match the entire time.
Good to hear.
So you definitely made a fan out of me. I subscribed. Um, you know, I liked the video. I think I even shared it. I'm
We
all
appreciate
about
it.
I'm all about promoting. I used to be in a deathcore band, and we had a manager, but she wasn't that great at promoting, so I did all the promoting. So when it comes to promoting for backyard wrestling, I take the same initiative and I try to promote as much as possible. I run the UWE Facebook page, which not a lot of people get involved um, with backyard wrestling on Facebook as much as they do on Twitter, but I'm trying to
All
change
right.
that. I'm trying to make that a game changer for backyard wrestling to try to open it up on Facebook more. So if you're not if you didn't give the UWE page a like on Facebook, definitely do that when this is
Right.
over.
I'll put that link in the description down below too. I know I like it and share pretty much everything that you guys post on there too. So
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I appreciate that.
not a problem. H2 said, thanks, man. Appreciate the support.
Always, always, brother.
Uslo said, guys, he's having a baby Atlas.
He won't stop with that. Oh my god.
Yes, I know you do, Steve Paragon. I appreciate that you share Tiger Talks Wrestling on Twitter as much as you can. Appreciate it that everybody does. So, which we'll get into more of that and towards the end of the show. But yeah, H2 kind of took away one of the things I was going to bring up because I was going to mention the When Worlds Collide show. Knew you were in there. One of the few guys that I know of that did tune in. Was there any other feuds or matches that you had in UWE that you wanted to discuss that we didn't get into?
Nothing comes to mind specifically. I say stay tuned for me and TJ. It's not over. He does get his rematch, and we are going to beat the living hell out of each other, and it's gonna catch some eyes.
I bet it will.
And as far as Ustalo goes, anytime you want a shot at that Underground Championship, I do not mind beating you again.
Right.
Friday Night Lights, for anybody who didn't see it, definitely check that out because I stole Dirty DeChico's hat and I put it on backwards and I started to sing the Pokemon theme song because at the time Ustalo was such a Pokemon nerd and the whole crowd joined in. And that's definitely got to be like one of the highlight moments doing doing the Pokemon theme song.
Yeah. So now that you do live in a different state, how much more will we be seeing of Jason Atlas, do you think, in the UWE?
Plenty. It's just a little bit of a commute. It's going to be a bit of a drive, but you got to make sacrifices if you want to be the best.
And I'll say here, because I haven't mentioned it on the podcast yet, but of course, congratulations to Ustalo on getting that win and making it so UWE is continuing, and we'll get to see more of the product.
Yes, Ustalo, thank you for securing my job that I don't get paid for.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think the only company that we didn't really touch on that you went to was you kind of have become a constant in LCW now as well.
LCW, don't be surprised when these guys take you by storm and they pop up as one of the next biggest feds. Their company just got a ring, and that is all going to start in the springtime. We've got big plans. I'm looking to end the career of Damon Scar. JJ Genovese, look out for him. He's gonna have his own. He's gonna have a pay-per-view named after him, and that's gonna be great. Undeniable. So look out for Undeniable, LCW. That Fatal 4-Way was such a fun match to do, and I got to meet some really cool guys, and it's in Goldsboro, Pennsylvania, which is the town that I live in. So you're gonna see a lot of Jason Atlas on LCW, and nothing but growth for this year for LCW.
So we know how you feel about Casey James, but how did you feel about in that fatal 4-way match getting to work with Hellhound and Samael?
Um, I've always been a big Samael fan since I first started wrestling him. Um, there's some content soon to be released with me and Samael, and I love working with that dude. And Hellhound he's just the coolest kid. You know, with his build, I definitely wouldn't have started out with Trunks, but the kid is phenomenal. His talent is like way beyond what I ever expected. If anybody didn't see that Fatal 4-Way, definitely check it out. He hits a double sliced bread off the ladder,
Yes, he did. I have seen
and
that
like
match.
that was one of those OMG moments. I threw him off a hill in the gorilla press position. I thought he was going to die.
Yeah,
So I'm glad I didn't kill a 15-year-old.
right.
List of
Samael
accomplishments.
says, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but we had a good match. Can't wait to beat you down in the future.
Yeah, you may be the king of ultra violence, but I'll be the king of just punching you in the face until you just can't get back up. So I look forward to that too.
All
Um,
right. Speaking of violence, leads me into my next question, or my favorite question to ask, I guess I could say. Putting you inside an elimination chamber match. Who are the 5 backyard wrestlers that you're in that match with?
an elimination. Wow, you got some good questions. So I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, five people I'd be in an elimination chamber match with. Uh, hmm. Aaron Jones would be one of them.
Okay,
We'll put Ustalo in there.
of course.
Um, KC James. Uh, I'd probably eliminate Samael first just for saying that he thinks that he'd beat me. And if we had to go with one more, hmm, I'm gonna go back to D-Lock.
Nice. So off of that, out of those 5 guys, who would be the last person you'd eliminate to win the match?
I appreciate that you know that I'm gonna win. Um, probably KC James because I have to make an example out of him.
Okay. Then
He
off that, I
talks
always
so
say that
much.
get you the chance to go on to main event of Best in the Yard. Who would you main event with if you had the choice?
Wow, main event best in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna get any if I'm gonna get any hate for saying this, but Cameron Jackson.
I could see why you'd pick Cam.
I'm sure everyone can. The brother man with the
Okay.
master plan, Mr. CJ. I'd face all 27 of him.
All 27 of them. Yeah, there you go. That'd be interesting. What was your opinions on his match with Cage at Best in the Yard this year?
The way that all those vignettes were going on, I really didn't think Cage was gonna show. So when I finally saw Cage come out, I was like, wow, like this is really going down. Um,
Right?
the ending I kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like I really wanted to see like that clear,
Clean finish.
that yeah, clean finish win. Um, I wish that somebody came out and went, "We're going to sudden death,"
Right?
This will not stop until there's a winner. But like, wow, what a spectacle, man. How are you gonna top that next year?
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes. Like, how are you gonna top that next year?
Right?
Because Best in the Yard
I did it.
2, Dirty Verse Big Time was my that was my main event, in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, and I helped. I was filming that match,
Right.
you know, close and personal. And then you have Cage versus Cameron Jackson. Um, if I could really be in the main event of Best in the Yard 4, with Cam, like my biggest goal would be to do everything I can to top him versus Cage.
Right.
And you know, another thing, like, nobody thought that I was going to win the Underground Championship in that triple threat. Everybody counted me out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would expect everybody to count me out to top the Best in the Yard, um, Cam versus Cage match, or the main event, Yankee versus Zach Daniels. And I
Mm-hmm.
would love to just prove them wrong.
There you go. So Ustalo chimes in, Jason Walker versus Everett Creed, even though Ev says it's not going to happen.
That shit's gonna happen. It's gotta happen.
Doesn't it though?
I don't care if it happens on someone's front lawn and some random bystanders just holding up a video camera. That shit's gonna happen somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. All
You
right.
can't just leave everybody with the biggest question and not answer it forever.
Right. So I got a couple more questions.
Okay.
What does the future look like for you? That first of all, the close up future and then long distance future look like for you in backyard wrestling and
Close
beyond.
Yeah, close up future. Definitely definitely more wins than losses. Um, I've had some rocky times, and uh going going into Endgame, I had no momentum whatsoever. I got beat by Creed, I got beat by Uso, I got beat by Revan. I was just losing and losing and losing. And now I'm the champion, and you can't keep a championship by losing. So,
Sure.
a big goal for me, whether Rick Rios is the champion at the time or not, I'd love to hold both belts. I'd love to be the first person to be the underground and UWE World Heavyweight Champion. And that's just in UWE. I could
So,
definitely extend this way farther.
right. Before I let you go on further, though, Yankee says not for long, bitch, but being the underground champion, and Usla also said for now.
I've been dying to get into a singles match with Yankee, actually. Anytime me and Yankees faced off so far, there's been other people involved. You put me and Yankee one on one, and I think we're going to tear the house down.
I believe.
Um, and it's actually going to be, it's going to hurt to have to beat him, I feel bad because I love him so much.
Right.
But I got to do it. I got to do it.
Now they're arguing over who gets the first shot at you.
All right, so I guess we have our number one contenders match set
there
in
you
the
go.
chat.
Yankee versus Ustalo, number one contender for the Underground Championship. I mean,
Yeah.
all right. So you kind of mentioned this before you and I went on the air, but it's a question I asked, so I got to bring it up. Pro aspirations, are they there?
Yeah. I'm there. The big. I was telling you before we went on live that the city closest to Goldsboro, Pennsylvania, is called Scranton. So some of the I know Sam AL probably knows it, and they've got a wrestling school where they've got indie matches and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I'm gonna get my start, and I'm gonna work my way up from there.
How much longer do you think we'll be seeing Jason Atlas in backyard wrestling then?
Um, I kind of want to leave that question on hold, um, because I might not know the answer to that question.
Gotcha.
It could be a lot sooner than I want it to be. But everything changes as my life changes. My decisions change as my life changes. Um, you know, when my girlfriend is in the hospital and I'm holding my son in my arms for the first time, am I ever gonna want to let go? You
Right.
know. Um,
I understand that.
I might when I do officially retire, I do want to have that one last retirement match. Maybe like a dream match, a match that makes the most sense. One of the two,
Mm-hmm.
but I want it to be the match that I'm remembered by forever in backyard wrestling.
All right. So I got to mention what the last couple things Usulo and Yankee said because it pertains to you.
Of course.
Win your championship. Usulo reminds Yankee that he never lost the Underground Championship. Once you beat him for the title, then Yankee can have you. But until that day happens, Usulo says he's getting his title back.
You know what? Uslo could have his title back when I get stuck up in the same situation with Ever Creed, and he makes me relinquish the title, and then I save UWE the second time.
There you go.
And then I'm the savior, and he's the underground champion, and then I win the world heavyweight championship, and Ustalo goes home and cries about it. No, I'm gonna be a fighting champion. I'm not gonna come out and say nobody's worthy of my title, and then take on the Winnipeg Warrior and
Something
easily
I
beat
haven't seen
him.
in UWE in quite
I'm,
a
yeah, he's he's probably still celebrating Boxing Day. I don't know.
while. All right. Yankee says, wherever you go, I'll be there to put you back where you belong, right in the fucking spectrum.
Again with the goddamn spectrum. Oh man. Hashtag spectrum. Yankee, I'm gonna powerbomb you
Oh.
through the spectrum.
Ustalo mentions because Yankee said, "Sure, you can dream," and Ustalo says, "I have to dream. It's only because of my dreams that the UWE is still around, and it's because of them that I'll become it once again, or Patty, or Timey Dong."
Wait, what?
I don't know what brought it about when he mentions Patty and Timey Dong.
Those are the two worst jobbers on the UWE totem pole, and I've actually seen Timey Dong on other promotions. Like who lets him wrestle?
Right?
He's so bad.
To which Ustalo, of course, had to ask me, "You love Ty, right?" No. We've had our issues.
I saw that. Didn't he challenge you at Best in the Yard?
He did to a pre-show match.
And did you accept?
Did I accept?
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that.
No, we squashed our beef after that, so we're good.
I guess I'll see you there.
Oh, he mentioned it because of Winnipeg, because he brought up Winnipeg Warrior.
So now we're just going down the jobber list.
Yep, we are. Jobbers, there's plenty of others you could mention from UWE, I'm sure, too, but that's side point.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? At first I thought Clunk was going to end up being a jobber, and he ended up becoming regional champion.
He did.
And now we're seeing him on NUW.
No.
And I'm glad I get to hear his theme song again because it makes me laugh.
Okay. This though says Crouching Tony Tiger versus Hidden Tie Dragon at Biddy 4. I say no.
Make it happen. I'll hit up J Joker to start making the logos.
I'm sure you would. That that'd be interesting. We'd have to get me there first.
Oh yeah.
Nonetheless. Uh, there's something else I was going to ask you about. Now I forget where I was heading off of that.
How about I ask you a question?
Go for it.
So we saw you. Well, I saw you when I saw When Worlds Collide.
Yes.
But for the first time, I actually saw you in a ring,
Yes.
calling the action right down the middle, as a referee.
Correct.
Um, would you ever switch positions and actually wrestle somebody, like wrestle another backyard wrestler? And if you did, who would it be? If you could pick anybody,
That's a good question.
and you're only allowed to have one match, and then you retire like Michael Cole.
Yeah, right. I honestly don't think I'd ever do it. So, to be honest with you,
Oh, that's an easy opt out.
it's the truth. I don't think I'd belong inside a ring or stepping on a trampoline and fighting anybody. So, nowhere's near athletic enough or have the skill to do any of that. So, I'll sit here. I'll referee occasionally. I'm fine with commentary, stuff like that. But
Yeah. But let's say you swallowed a magic pill and you did have all that stuff, and
you
you
just want
got
me
to
to give you
choose.
an answer, don't you?
I really want an answer. You ask the hard
Okay.
hitting questions. I get at least one.
Okay. That's tough. I'd have to say my dream opponent would be it would have to be Zach Daniels.
Awesome answer.
Exactly who
Now,
I'd have.
would you want the sinner or would you want the most successful man
It'd have to be
or
the
would you
center.
want the maniac?
I'd have to be the center.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for that alone. Oh. No, not just for that alone, but still.
um, Fun fact. Best in the Yard 2, when he had that little the little mosh pit
Mhm.
that started up before his entrance.
Yeah.
I organized that, and
Nice.
nobody was gonna do it, and I had to just start pulling people from different directions, like we're moshing, because that was my original idea to do at Best in the Yard, and I didn't get a match. So I'm like, I'm gonna at least make sure that Zach has this because he has that awesome breakdown.
Right? Nice. Somebody else said Timey Dong versus Jason Atlas.
2 seconds, it's over.
Just
I
a head.
would not even a back fist. Like, what would I do?
Like last time we saw Timey Dong, he was getting his ass kicked by Yankees. So,
Yeah. Um, and Timey Dong's cousin.
yep.
Yeah, they got the worst of it. Um, you should never interrupt Yankee during a promo. You're asking to die. You're asking to get beat with a bat, so that,
Right?
to the point that you're going to be hospitalized in like a body cast.
Definitely. So, we know we'll see more of you in UWE. We've got more. I'm sure we'll see of you in NUW in the future.
Yep. And LCW is going to
Improving
be
ground.
huge. Yes, and proving ground.
Besides Casey James, who do you have your eye on in Proving Ground that you'd like to step in there with as big of a roster as it is?
Besides Casey James, I'm trying to think of the roster in my head right now.
So many guys.
I know.
Jay's technically part of the roster. You got Victor Van Pelt, the current champion. Paul Peterson was. I don't know if he is still part of the roster or not.
All right. Here's an interesting answer. Jay Genocide.
I was just going to mention the NLBW guys too, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Um, Especially with how my characters kind of take a turn for the worst. I saw Jay Genocide up close and personal, and I think it'd be two evils colliding.
Very nice. Samael says me. Yeah, I know Samael's on the roster too. He's made quite the debut
You know what?
recently.
Can I change my answer? I definitely have to beat up Samuel
There you go. That too.
in a
How
death
about ball?
match, an exploding ring death match.
Oh, interesting.
Have you ever seen those?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, with the time bombs, those things are crazy.
So speaking of different stipulation matches, we've seen new stipulations matches brought into backyard wrestling this last year. Of course, the Buried Alive match we've seen a body bag match that Samael was involved in with Novin. Seen plenty of casket matches. Are there any match types that you would like to see brought into backyard wrestling that we haven't seen yet?
Steel cage.
I've heard a rumor that that's actually going to happen in a company in the near future.
Hell yeah. Um, yeah, I'd love to see. I would definitely love to see a steel cage match. Um, I don't know how you'd really get a Hell in a Cell going. That's why I said steel cage. It
Right?
seems a little bit easier to do.
Definitely.
Let's see. Maybe an Inferno match. I could see me facing Ustalo in that actually.
That would be interesting.
Set the Pyromancer on fire. Make the
There you go.
Phoenix have to rise again from the ashes.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. So we're only going to be on here for a few more minutes. So if you got any other comments or questions, put them in the chat section as we'll get winding down here. All right. What else can we look forward to in LCW, would you say, knowing that people haven't really seen much of it yet?
I didn't mean to kind of degrade them when I said that. I meant to really just have people listen that they are definitely going to be a name to be mentioned this year. So I didn't mean to say that not that many people. I want more people to hear of them. And you know, you got amazing talents like Devin James, Dilvon Satan's going to be making a comeback. Um, yeah, I mentioned JJ Genovese,
Yep.
amazing talent, and you know they got their jobbers too. And Timey Dong actually, I ran into him again, and he was on LCW refereeing, I think. So he's refereeing and stuff now. And you got this guy Ganja the Clown. Uh, he's definitely made me laugh.
All right.
Samael, uh, you know, he's a big name, only going to get bigger anyway too.
Right.
And I think he's decently new to them. I don't want to forget any names, but trust me, you're gonna know these guys.
Yeah.
And I've gotten word that my match with Damon Scar, I got the stipulation. It's gonna be a street fight.
Nice.
Um, so far in my at least televised on YouTube, I've yet to be in a street fight.
Yeah.
And that's anything goes, you know. No disqualification, hardcore matches, you still might have some kind of limitations, but when it comes to a street fight, you know, I am going to be an animal. I'm going to be barbaric,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to retire Damon Scar because anybody who hasn't checked it out yet, um, it was Damon Scar versus Zach Webb. Also another great talent, Zach Webb. You might also see him on DBW for the Internet Championship. They fought against each other for Damon Scar's career, and he was about to sign, you know, his career away, and I stopped it, and I headhunted Damon Scar, and I now have his career in my hands. So it's a whole new beginning for me and a whole new end for Damon Scar.
All right. Sounds like something worth watching. If I
Oh,
haven't
it
seen
will.
much of it myself, but definitely have to check it out more.
Absolutely.
All right. Uslo did say, I already have an Inferno match planned for 2018. It's going to be good.
Hmm. I wonder who it's against.
Good question. We'll see if he answers on that. In the meantime, uh, so I want to ask you, I'm going to, like I said before, I try to get more interactive with guests and with fans. You've seen the polls I posted yesterday, I'm sure. What would you say about bringing on guys to do these, what's what I'm looking for here? Roundtables at times on the show.
Bullseye. Is that how you
Yeah.
said? Bullseye?
Is
I
that?
did not.
Yeah. Um, do you think it was, if I do start doing roundtables, do you think it's something that we should just talk about backyard wrestling stuff, or like,
Um, I mean, what else? What else would you go into?
uh,
That question has to arise.
I meant like big events, or just like the shows that they're from, depending on people I got on the show, or
Um, it's called the round table. I'd say be well rounded about it. Ask about, the shows that they're from, shows that they want to be on, ask them their opinions about um, you know, what they think of these companies and that companies and the people in these companies. Have they heard of them?
yeah,
And if they haven't, maybe it'll be a good way to check those companies or other backyard wrestlers out.
I like that idea. Um,
Nobody wants to be unknown, Think of
sure,
how many kids are on trampolines posting things on YouTube and nobody knows who the hell they are.
right,
Um, People that are wrestling on the ground, people are wrestling on playgrounds. Um, they really want to get noticed, but they don't know how. Um,
true,
I think the coolest way to do that is to for bigger companies and big names to mention that,
yeah, I agree with
and
you
then
on that.
they could get up there with those other guys, and the backyard wrestling community grows once more because you've seen Big Time Mike retire, you've seen Drew Hood semi-retire. Um, Cameron Jackson looked like he was leading towards retirement. How many more people are going to retire, and when they do, who's going to take their spot?
Right,
Um, so I think finding finding companies that aren't so well known, and maybe even putting them on your show, they get to tell you about it
yeah,
and what they want for their future, and like if they're willing to travel, maybe they could get out to companies like UWE and VTW, and they get a fighting chance.
right. Because
That was my.
definitely,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, they are good. So definitely, if they get more people on here from shows that aren't seen that much, and if they can travel to like a VTW, you get more eyes on you. So
Yeah. Um. Yeah. VTW, UWE, and UW. I think your best place to get yourself known is Proving Ground because
okay,
Proving Ground. One thing I could say about that is it it gives it gives an opportunity for the guy that keeps on getting stuck in the middle but wants to get a little bit higher but doesn't know how, um because maybe they're getting booked like shit. So Proving Ground, I'll tell you, the person who's running Proving Ground is giving equal opportunity to everybody, and that's what I love to see.
right,
That's why I mention LCW on this show so much. I can't get that point across enough because they are so talented and they put on some serious clinics, and they deserve that recognition.
yeah, I understand that. So my other two questions about the show is, you might not know who all's been on, but if you could choose one, at least one or two people that you think I should have on the show at some point that I haven't yet, that you
Well,
would
I know
like to see.
Revan's on his way. Probably he'll be on here
More
soon.
than likely, yes.
Um, You know what you should do? You should put Johnny Reed and Revan on at the same time.
That could be interesting.
Just ask them how they felt about their match and if Johnny Reed is in a lot of pain because
I'd
he
have to
got
get
caught in that submission for like an hour.
I'd have to get Reed to actually agree to come on the show first, though, because I was in talks with Navon through Navon with him of coming on, and he wasn't willing to do it. So I wasn't too thrilled to do it.
That's somebody who has so much raw talent. Like that kid is going places.
Right? Yeah,
If he's
definitely.
not if he's not on his way to being, NUW champion, he's gonna be a champion somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I couldn't after seeing, after knowing like Revan beat him, that's got to do wonders for Revan's career.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was definitely one of his big up there accomplishments
Nice
of
moments,
wins.
right?
But not to steer off your question.
Never.
So yeah, you still Revan trying to think. Have you ever had D-Lock on here?
I have.
You have had D-Lock?
Not live yet, but I have.
Have you had Dustin?
Both of them, yes. Dustin was
Okay.
actually my second guest ever.
Wow, I must have missed that one.
And
Or I saw a little bit of it and
if you've
didn't
seen
remember.
the poll I posted yesterday, I haven't checked it recently, but Dustin was actually leading the poll of the 4 VTW guys I posted to bring back on for a Q&A at some point.
Awesome. I would say maybe get some of the LCW guys on here.
All right.
Um, uh, Devin James, Damon Scar, Zach Webb, JJ Genovese. Um, hmm. There's some names I'm forgetting just because I don't want to say their names wrong. Dilvon Satan.
I did have him on here.
You had Dilvon Satan on here?
I did have Dilvan on.
I did not see that.
It was quite a while.
And let me think. You had Shadow Grim. I saw that. You had Felix. You've had the Dark Side.
Yep.
Um,
And Divine and Joseph Anthony. If we're going
yeah,
to...
I saw those. You can't miss. You can't miss a Navon McDonald exclusive because he'll make sure you see it.
Well, if you asked Yankee, you could because it was over 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But, hey, it is what it is.
Have you ever had Paul Peterson?
I have not have Paul on here.
I'm sure you've got your reasons. I'm just kidding. But yeah, actually, he was one of the first people on Facebook Live when me and my girlfriend did a gender reveal on Facebook Live. When we were finding out at the same time as everybody else that it was a boy, and Paul Peterson was one of the first guys, as far as like backyard wrestlers, to congratulate me.
That's cool. Somebody else says get JJ. So
What?
said somebody else says to get JJ on here. So
Definitely get JJ on here.
all right. And the last part of my question, as you've seen, I've just started up with these Q&As that I've done. Had 2 guests so far, Yankee and, of course, J Joker Designs. Who would you like to see me bring back, perhaps, or bring on maybe fan-wise or something like that to be on a Q&A?
I'd say bring Yankee back on and ask him about the Spectrum.
For a 3rd time? Maybe. No.
I think I only saw the second time. So I didn't know that you had him twice already.
Yeah, because the first one was an actual interview. The second one was a Q&A.
Yeah.
Uslo wants himself back on for a Q&A.
Yeah.
Hey.
Uslo is he's very full of himself. He's a hothead. Pun intended.
Oh, of course.
I would say maybe get Zach Daniels back on here for a Q&A, especially since that was your pick out of any backyard wrestler you could ever face if you were to, be a backyard wrestler and step in the ring. And
I'll get him on here first of all for an actual interview, and then maybe a Q&A afterwards.
You never had Zach Daniels on here?
He hasn't had the chance to come on yet, no. I've
Tony,
talked to him
what are
for
you doing?
months. Hey, it's not my fault. I've tried getting him on here. He hasn't had the time to yet.
You better start emailing him and sending him singing telegrams. Get his ass on there.
All right. I agree with you. No, it took quite a while to get Kevin even on here, and Zach I asked pretty much around the same time I did Kevin several months back. So,
I got an idea.
what's that?
I would call you Backyard Wrestling's #1 super fan.
Thanks.
So, what if, for one time only, I held a podcast and had you as a guest? Would you be open to that?
Sure, why not?
Talk about your favorite backyard wrestling matches, moments, all that kind of stuff. I'll do my homework just like you did, and I'll come up with a whole set of questions. We got to set that up one time.
I'd be down for it.
Cool.
I'd have to do some research, but I'd be down for it.
I'm guessing the comment section is dead by now.
Yeah, it's pretty much for the most part.
Yeah.
Gustavo's about the only person that said anything in Samael, but.
Well, you can't ignore Samael because then he starts breaking shit. He's probably broke TV and 2 holes in his wall already.
None of that stuff. But anyways, yeah, for me, I'm just trying to get more people interacting with the show and giving their opinions.
Yeah. I will promote you as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's not necessarily you, it's other people that I just try to get to post stuff about the show or try to get involved in some way, shape, or form.
My way of thinking is if you've been on it, you help out afterwards, You had them as a guest. Least they could do is to continue to promote it and get involved and try to nudge other people to get on it or to talk about it.
Yeah.
Make a trend or something.
I feel you, because that's the way I feel too. I got plenty of subscribers and stuff. I'm not looking to gain more subscribers. I just want more eyes and involvement in the show. Pretty much, I guess, is all I care about.
Yeah, definitely in the live chat. Probably want more questions coming out, more comments, have it kind of blowing up.
It blows up more when I do those Q&As, it seems like, than these. So depending on the person, more so. But yeah. So guys, I will mention again, as I mentioned Tuesday night, I want you guys to leave those likes, put some comments in the comment section below. I never get comments after the videos are over, so
yeah, leave comments.
Please share.
Especially if you didn't watch it while it was actually live streaming, definitely leave a comment.
Yes, that would very much be appreciated. I would love to hear whether people are enjoying or not enjoying the length of them or how the questions I ask or anything else. I don't care. Give me criticism, give me positive notes, whatever. Because I know everybody can improve. I know I can.
To all the people that did not tune into this after I watched your long-ass podcast, fuck you.
Right?
I asked so many questions. I got involved with your podcast. And what did you do? You sat there and watched Netflix and fuck you.
Yes.
did something else. You weren't
Right?
working, you weren't busy, you just don't like me. So I don't like you.
There you go. Sounds about right. But anyways, yeah, guys, just like, comment, subscribe, leave information. I don't care what you do, whether it be here or on Twitter. I just want to hear more because this isn't just a show for me; it's a show for everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
support backyard wrestling community.
definitely.
Keep it alive.
Why I always put hashtag support BYW in most of my tweets when I mention anything from YouTube. So I'll keep it in there.
Real quick, I just want to say, as far as help us get our brother Jay Joker to Best in the Yard 4 just one more time. I got the GoFundMe app going. You know, even if you can't donate right now, you know, we've got all the way up until the summertime, so there's plenty of time. uh you know, $2, $5, whatever, it all adds up. And even if you can't do that, you know, share it somewhere that other people haven't seen it. You know, spread the word. um you know, he's our brother and he's helped us. Let's help him. Let's make his dream come true. And thank
Nice.
you so much, Tony, for giving me this opportunity to kind
Yeah,
of
man.
my stuff out there.
I very much appreciated you coming on here. I will mention before I sign off here, Sam Al did say breaking shit like I'm Limp Bizkit.
Oh, it's all about the he said, she said bullshit.
Indeed. But yeah. I don't know as of right now when the next show will be. Just everybody follow me on Twitter, Tiger121685. You'll find out all the information there. Um, Next week, sometime, I'm sure we'll be back on with somebody. In talks with a few different people, just don't know who will be next. So
Follow Jason Atlas too.
nice little plug there. Anywhere else that you want people to follow or subscribe? Here's your chance to plug anything. In other words,
I feel like I did that. And you know, check out me whooping Casey James's ass probably all season of 2018. And check out the UWE HD Facebook page. Give us a like. I just recently added a chat discussion, so we'll be posting, you know, match cards and stuff like that. Let us know who you want to win, who your predictions are, what you think of certain superstars, who you hate, who you love. Get involved, and definitely get involved with Tiger Talks Wrestling. You've corrected me once before. I'm not going to make you do it again.
good thing. No, no. But yeah. So I give you any last chance to get anything off your mind. Any last words from me, bud?
I think I'm completely blank. I just want to say that, you know, I love all my brothers in backyard wrestling, and keep doing what you guys do, and you know, we're gonna build this thing for the next guys, and you know, don't ever forget that, you know, it's not all about you. To all you egotistical motherfuckers out there, it's not all about you.
That's all.
Um, you know, we want to help each other, and we all started doing this to have a good time. It's our escape. It's our you know, it's our home away from home. So let's keep treating it that way.
Definitely.
Leave the ego at the door.
And I know for me, I'll stay involved with all the backyard stuff and hopefully get a chance to step in the ring and do more refereeing, if nothing else. But for that, look forward to seeing you in the future, whether it be UWE, LCW, or Proving Ground, or wherever.
I'll be everywhere.
Hey,
I'll be hard to miss.
all right. See the uh, how much you improve as the disease. Then
Yeah. Shit. If I could get to Michigan, who knows? NWF Adrenaline. Maybe a one-time match or something.
hey, I'm sure they'd be down for it.
Yeah.
Very much so.
If this is my last year, I want to make it count. I'm looking to wrestle as many people as I possibly can. I made a list. Hopefully, I get half of that done.
Nice. That would be a good thing. At least get half of it done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll take it out here. For Jason Atlas, I am Tony. This has been Tiger Talks Wrestling. We'll catch you guys on the next time. See ya.
Peace.